94 miles north of the Scottish mainland, where the blustery Atlantic meets the North Sea, lies Shetland, an archipelago of some 100 islands, mostly uninhabited. Until the late 15th century, they belonged to Scandinavia. Being closer to Bergen than Edinburgh, the islanders remained proud of their Norse heritage. Recently, new riches have been discovered, supplementing the island's staple of farming and fishing. The most northerly island is Unst, where locals mix tradition with innovation to survive in a fast-changing world. It's summer here, and crofters Charlie and Bertie Priest get acquainted with the bonxie, the most fearsome bird on the island.
They dive right down on you, right down on you. They'd even come and touch your head, and they're kind of scary.
And local entrepreneur Frank Strang has an idea to put Unst on the world stage with a music festival.
We could fall flat on our faces, nobody could turn up.
And will the big event prove too much for some of the local performers?
I'm scared I'm gonna mess it up.
Come on, you're just nervous. You'll be all right.
It's mid-July, and in Britain's most northerly parish, Barbara Priest calls the congregation of St. John's Church, Baltersound, to their regular Sunday service. It will be taken by David Cooper, minister to this parish for over 7 years. Today, his service is taking a musical theme.
Music in my life is huge. It is, of course, very important to Shetland. Take the fiddle down from the wall and give us a tune. It's a way not just of bringing the family together, but the wider community as well. Really, no event can take place without there being some music.
This morning, to mix things up, David has chosen an unusual hymn to start the service.
Just for a moment, you are not only the congregation gathered in the parish of Unst, you are the doily cart chorus on stage for all the world. We'll be singing Courage, Do Not Stumble, and a stirring tune from Arthur Sullivan, so a touch of Gilbert and Sullivan thrown in. Courage, brother, do not stumble.
Over the last 100 years, this church has traditionally been bolstered by military personnel who've been based on the island, now long gone. But a recent addition to the congregation is Mother Mary, the island's very own Eastern Orthodox nun. She came to Unst 8 years ago, drawn by its isolation and rugged beauty. One of her favourite meditative spots is the northernmost tip of the island, where the Atlantic Ocean meets the North Sea.
I come here pretty regularly, really, to pray. I feel that it's part of my vacation here. Oh, Jesus Christ.
This striking blustery headland has also played a prominent role in warning Unst of approaching invaders. Once Viking longboats, later German battleships, and more recently Russian submarines.
Unst, having the most northerly coast of Britain, was very strategically important to protect the North Passage between Russia and the Atlantic. Over here we have Skor, where there was a presence during the First World War and the Second World War. And then if we span round here, I can see Saxeford, which was where the RAF were during the Cold War. And they helped look after the radar mast, which is still working and still observing and protecting Britain.
The old base at Saxeford was once home to specialist radar personnel. But when the Cold War ended, the Ministry of Defence sold it off. The domestic quarters have since been redeveloped into a hotel, brewery, and gin distillery. The entrepreneur behind it all is former Flight Lieutenant Frank Strang, who today is holding a meeting to discuss a bold new idea for the old Air Force Base.
Okay, Lisa, do you want to get into artists in the lineup? How many artists have we got?
It's about 30-something.
And the Americans?
Yeah.
Okay, so if every artist brings their family, we're quids in.
Frank has come up with a plan to showcase Unst's unique musical talents, alongside a few big names from America.
Music and the arts really run through the whole DNA of Shetland, and especially Unst. And in an effort to try and bring more people to Unst, what we decided to do is to hold Britain's most northerly music festival.
Frank's vision is for several open-air stages and on-site camping for visiting festival goers.
Up here we're heading towards the AstroTurf, which has got the most magnificent view, and if God could come down and give me one wish, somehow we'll make this the venue. We've brought some power in here from the officers' mess site, and we've got a couple of portable stages. What I'd love to do is to turn this into a proper outdoor venue with a roof on it. What's that movie? Field of Dreams, build it and they will come.
The former base is also home to Britain's most northerly charity shop. Frank has given over the old supply building to the Barrack Stores, which is run on behalf of Balterstown Kirk by Barbara Priest, the church's bell ringer.
You never know what's going to come in, and you never know what's going to sell. We've had some pieces for months, and you think, I wonder if that will ever sell, and somebody comes in and says, that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's half the fun of it.
Has there anything you've been stuck with for absolutely ages?
That was would be telling.
The shop has already raised over £6,000 for Kirk refurbishments, but the building is only on loan to the church.
The agreement is if they need to use this space, then we vacate. So we're hoping that doesn't happen.
3 miles further up the road from Saxa Vord is the most northerly dwelling in the whole of the British Isles.
Yeah.
It belongs to 58-year-old twins, Charlie and Bertie Priest.
Good.
Islanders whose family have been on Unst for over 10 generations and who still work the family croft where they graze their sheep. But crofting alone won't pay the bills, so they both have other jobs too. Charlie helps run the local shop, the final checkout, and is the island bus driver, while Bertie runs a garage. The twins have lived on Unst all their lives, and being crofters have not only communal grazing rights, but peat rights on the moor below the old radar station.
When going out the old peat road, out where everybody cut the peats.
Waiting to lend Charlie a hand is twin brother Bertie. The brothers keep the essential tools for the job in their specially constructed peat house.
It's the rubber.
The ripper, the tushkar, and Shetland spade.
Tushker and the Shetland spade.
These types of tool have been used by crofters all over the islands and west coast for hundreds of years.
It's not really hard work, really, but it's maybe you just get used to it.
Peat is a fossil fuel made of decomposed organic matter that has been compressed over a few thousand years. When dried, it can be burnt. Crofters have traditionally used peat to heat their homes.
We used to cut peat since we were 10-year-old, I think. There's a great community spirit about that time, I mean, when everybody was coming here, a lot of fun. There used to be 10 people casting in this area, 10 people up there casting peats all at the same time, and I mean, it's a great thing to see everybody out in the peat hill. If you're a shareholder in the Northern Common Grazing, then you can cut peats. But then anybody can come and ask us and see if they want to cut peats, and they pay £5 a year for cut as many as they want. It is a bargain, because if you're buying a bag of coal, that's probably £10. Just one bag of coal. And this you can cut as many as you want.
Whilst it might seem like a bargain to a crofter like Charlie, apart from the hard graft of cutting the peat, it then has to be stacked and left to dry before it can be taken off the moor.
You can see where the gaps is between the peats there, for the wind going whistling through to dry them.
But the twins are not alone on the moor. They're soon joined by the infamous Shetland bonxie.
There are too many of them. There didn't used to be that many, but now there's the bonxie seems to be taking over everything.
The bonxie is a big, aggressive bird. Its real name is Great Skewer, and such is the fearsome reputation of skewers that the Royal Navy named a dive-bombing aeroplane after them.
they dive right down on you. They'll even come and touch your head, and they're kind of scary. Here, this young one here, he's nearly ready to fly.
The bonxie is a migrant bird that loves to breed here on the peat moors of Unst, and with its audacious flying skills survives by stealing fish in the air from other birds.
This one's a bit younger. He's not got his feathers here.
Known also to dive bomb humans when approached, the twins handle these birds with great caution.
Take hold of your fingers if you the chance.
The brick-sized pieces of wet peat need to be left for about 2 weeks to dry out, and the twins will return in a fortnight to check up on their stack. At the final checkout, Charlie's workmates Pat and Lorraine are busy stocking the shelves for the anticipated crowd of music festival goers.
Well, hopefully, if it all goes to plan, then it'll be a yearly event. It's a very ambitious plan, but hopefully it'll all go good.
Yeah, hope it does. Hope they all come back again. And
you know, not if you're attracting bands from America, then hopefully they'll go back and say you should go and play here, and we might get a few more bands.
But Pat and Lorraine's role in the event goes far beyond being just spectators. Their own band, True Nought, has been built to play on the main stage.
very excited, yes. I mean, we're just used to being on our own and playing at concerts. Maybe the odd wedding we've played at, but with all these bands coming, we're glad to be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for the festival?
No. Do we sound as if we're ready for the festival?
At the tea rooms in Haroldswick, Master Baker Victoria Moat is also getting excited about the music festival. Her daughter's school choir has been invited to take part.
Maisie loves singing. She loves singing. She's always sung. She sings around the house, sings in the shower. When she first started singing, I didn't really think very much of it because she couldn't sing very well. But then she just seemed to find her voice, and now she sings quite well. Her auntie, my elder sister, she sings opera. She's got a beautiful voice, and I think she's probably taken it from there, because I can't sing, so it's not from me. And it's not from her dad, because he can't sing either, so...
In a month's time, Maisie and her classmates will be the first to take the stage, performing in front of a crowd of music lovers as well as the big-name acts from America.
It's nerve-wracking because they're really good singers and like musicians and stuff, and like we just kind of like little people in the background, like the little Baltasar choir. So
it's not about the money, money, money. We don't do money, money, money. We just want
Although the sun is currently shining over at the old Air Force Base, festival organizer Frank Strang has had to take a difficult decision. Bad weather is forecast for the weekend of the festival. He's had no choice but to requisition the former military base's supply building that he loaned to the church.
This is the final clearance sale.
Unfortunately, because of the weather, we need to get everyone inside, and the only building that's of a size was the supply building. So we had to serve notice to quit in a very nice way to Barbara and the team.
With the festival's opening night just a few weeks away, the conversion work has to start immediately.
I found a glass shade which I think matches something in the house. For 50p, we've got a good spare.
Thank you, thank you.
But everyone is taking it in good spirits, including David Cooper.
Now, this enormous cabin is going to be full of music.
Converting a vast empty supply room into a working music venue is a mammoth task. So Frank's called in the big guns.
Most of my team are ex-military, so we're planning this like a military campaign. And that's Sammy, man of all trades, mountain guide, ex-international judo player, RAF PTI, carpenter, sculptor.
If you can get the door, I'll get this. If you get the door, go on.
Retired Sergeant Mark Sammy Samuels is Frank's old Air Force pal, and he's going to head up the construction team.
Yeah, there's a fair bit to do, but we got a cutting list and a working out list. We just crack on and get them done. The schedule's a bit tight, but even if we have to work till late on in the evening or very early in the morning, we can do it. Many hands make light work. Get the whip out.
In just a few short weeks, Sammy has got to create a bar, build a stage, construct a lighting rig, and put in a sound mixing desk. Handling logistics is Frank's wife, Debbie.
Nobody can find it at the moment, so let him know and just say, just get on his way to Aberdeen, because that's far more important that him and the toilets arrive. Thanks, bye. We can manage without a tent. We can't manage without 20 toilets, can we? So that'll be fine. It just goes on and on, but it's great. It is all coming together.
But Frank dreams of entertaining more people than just the local crowd who turn up at the festival.
There we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
He's going to broadcast the Unst Music Festival around the world, live over the internet.
What we're trying to do is to put Unst on the map. If we can pull the numbers in and create the excitement and stream the concert out, people will know where we are. I don't know how many people are going to come. It could be that we have a party with 100 of my new best friends, or we have 600, 700, 800 people here over the weekend. I really don't know, but the logistics have been put in place to support 600, 700, 800 people.
On the hillside above the old Air Force Base, the twins are back to see how their peat stacks are faring. The last few days have seen heavy rain, and the old peat road has become impassable, even for their 4x4. So they have to continue the journey on foot, which is bad news for Charlie. He's left his wellies at home.
No be falling on my footwear, will you? I just shan't be dry as this, or I put my boots on.
The boys are anticipating that with all the recent rain, their peats will have had little chance to dry out.
They look all right, yeah. Yeah, you can hold them up so it's fine. And one hand, then you're okay. Yeah. When you hold them with one hand, they're fairly dry. Yeah. But they need to be raised.
So, with the peat sufficiently dry, Charlie and Bertie can now proceed to phase 2 of the process, known here in the islands as raising the peat, which involves placing the blocks in intricate patterns.
It's not very good for the back, this. This raising pits, I always complain it's bad for the back. Especially if you're doing this for a whole day.
In less enlightened times, whole families were involved in peat cutting, and this back-breaking work was given over to the women.
It's good for their mind, I think. It kind of, if they're worrying about anything, then they forget about it when they come to the hill.
The men would cut, but the hardy women folk would raise.
Get a lot of women out here together and then they put the worlds to right. When they're in a cup of tea afterwards. Yeah. That's them all finished. Yes, nearly finished. Yeah. Get a bit of moss, clean your hands with. Good for cleaning the pits off your hands. Yeah. We usually go in the pictures and maybe have a bottle of beer or something. In the old days they used to have brew, made brew, and then they'd take some brew out, and then once they were finished casting, or through the day they were casting, then they would have a glass of brew. Home brew. If you had a half pint of that, you knew you'd had them. Yeah. Not like a bottle of beer. Powerful stuff. Yeah. Yes, if they had too much home brew, they were liable to fall off the bank. If they had too much. Yeah.
After all their hard work, the twins are off to their own peat house for a little refreshment. Charlie and Bertie built this home from home on the hill 20 years ago, although there's been a peat house on this spot for over 100 years.
Find if anybody's out here for a walk, then they can sit in the peat house and have a rest. Yeah. We had a visitors book here for. We actually started this one in 2004.
And in the twins' peat house, the tradition is every visitor, wherever they're from, is invited to sign the guest book.
Droitwich, Doncaster, and this one's New Zealand, yeah. Top spot. Need cooker and double beds. They want a double bed in here, they say, yeah. We got a bunk bed that we could... Or a hammock or something, maybe. Yeah, hammock. A hammock, they might sleep. Yeah. Nice curtains. Yeah. Curtains up here. Yes. all right.
Yeah. We'd always leave a bottle of cream and barley up here. To come up here and they need something, they can always just have a drap.
We have old fathers. That's a Sunday school.
Sunday school, yeah.
Sunday school bands.
With me and Charlie here in the front here. Here, that's Charlie. Yeah. 1960. Yeah.
The majority of Charlie and Bertie's childhood friends from this, their Sunday school photograph, still live and croft on Unst.
Here's to the picture.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The weekend of the music festival has finally arrived, and so have the Americans, bringing with them some welcome good weather. They've gathered in the Methodist Church to stretch their vocal cords. Amongst them are the two big names that Frank has recruited. Jim Sailstrom is a well-known lead guitarist who plays with Dolly Parton.
I think if you were to ask anybody in Nashville about bluegrass, they would say, oh yeah, it started over here in Scotland and the Shetland Islands, and that's where our heritage comes from, is from here.
Jim will be headlining the event with Livingston Taylor, the brother of singer-songwriter James Taylor, and himself a best-selling artist.
This is a magical corner of the world. Congratulations to God on getting it really right here.
But as the day of the concert arrives, Frank's weather predictions turn out to be spot on. Which is good news for the tea rooms, who are fully booked with festival goers seeking a warming meal out of the rain. In less than an hour, Victoria's daughter Maisie will be taking the stage, and her nerves are starting to get the better of her.
You'll be all right. You've got time. No, I'll go back and get the purse with you. Oh, come on. You're just getting upset. You're just nervous. You'll be all right. She is very excited, yeah. She's very nervous as well. There was lots of tears yesterday. So, and we've made sure that she's got her words, because she's scared that she's going to forget all her words, and I think she'll be fine, but she is very nervous. But it's all good. Keep smiling.
At the festival, Maisie is not only going to be singing with her school choir, she also has a solo number to perform.
It's a very big thing. I'm scared I'm gonna mess it up.
Out on the AstroTurf field, some hardy music lovers have already pitched their tents. No one knows how many will turn up, but there's a supportive home crowd ready to welcome the Baltersound School Choir on stage.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Jim Sailstrom, and I have the joy of getting to introduce our first act. The Baltersound Junior High students. They're going to make some beautiful music for you. Put your hands together, please. Welcome.
Back at the tea rooms, Victoria has got her hands full.
Trying to get everything organised so that I can leave to be able to go and watch Maisie sing her first solo.
It's Maisie's big moment, and true to her word, her mum is there to enjoy it. As is Jim, who knows how a Dolly Parton number should be sung.
She did really well. See, she made me cry. She did really well. I'm so proud of her. She did brilliantly.
Next up, it's Pat and Lorraine. They've played gigs before, but never in front of so many fellow musicians.
Look, it's been great so far. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. Main stage.
Please make welcome True North. Love the music that I'm hearing.
Wow, Livingston Taylor.
Altogether, 30 local bands play at the festival and go down a storm with the crowd and the thousands worldwide over the live internet stream. Frank's dream has become a reality as Britain's most northerly music festival draws to an end.
I'm very blessed that I have some dear friends in America who are very accomplished musicians. They've come all the way to Ansk. They've come because this is a very special place. So what I want you guys to do is to enjoy yourselves, have fun, and let's go out in the high.
Time for the two Americans to take to the stage.
In my mind, I'm going to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moon shine? Ain't it just like a friend of mine? Take me from behind, and I'm going to Carolina in my mind.
Wasn't that great? Wasn't that absolutely fantastic? And I'm exhausted. Wonderful. I think we'll do it again.
In the days to come,
Hear us as we pray for those who work at sea.
David Cooper joins Episcopal minister Neil Bryce in a unique island remembrance.
It's very much a community event. Community and the sea just run deep.
And angst anglers take to the water to contest for local bragging rights.
I don't think we're going to get for the most unfortunate catch. We're actually near it, I would think.
Into the Wilds with Gordon Buchanan, sharing his passion for the natural world with some well-known people, starting with Alistair Campbell in a new series tomorrow at 6:30 on BBC Two. Next up, we're in the Beechgrove Garden.